Hello from Salt Lake. Great news. Actually, I got some good news and some bad news, but right now, great news is that Dan the Adventure Bus is fixed. Brock over at CIS Diesel, certified injection service, totally fixed it up. So if you guys, oh, it does smell like oil like here still, but if you guys remember, I was driving the other day on election day, and also before that, there was smoke coming out of what is called the doghouse. The doghouse is this plastic thing that basically kind of seals off the engine compartment to the bus. You can pull it off, access it, work on the engine. So I was having a lot of smoke coming in the bus. Let me start this bad boy up. And what happened was, it turned out to be Lewis Bus Group stripped one of the bolts that holds the, what is it, the manifold. The manifold? I'm kind of spacing out on the word. Anyways, the valve cover. That's what it was, the valve cover. They stripped one of the bolts, so he had to tap it and get it to re-thread in there, and it took a couple of his hours. I'm guessing he undercharged me. Honestly, he only could charge me for 2 hours. But he is such a nice guy. If you guys are in Salt Lake, get your diesel over here to CIS and ask for Brock, because he is awesome, super honest, and he's getting me back on the road. So I don't know what to do. So that's the good news is I have the bus. The bad news is I have to deal with the bus group, the bus mechanic again. I need to try and figure out some kind of refund. As you guys know, they double charged me in the very beginning, and they discounted some things. They took off, you know, some excessive hours. Some parts were double priced. I just checked the other day, they charged me $50 for a fuel filter, when on Amazon you can get a Motorcraft, which is a Ford brand, for $25, and they probably used aftermarket. Their cost was maybe $15, $20, and they charged me $50. So that's not cool. But what's the most not cool thing, and I don't want to, let me just get out of my system real quick. The most not cool thing is that they put it back together incorrectly. Besides ordering the wrong air conditioning parts, besides all kinds of shenanigans that I had to deal with over there. Again, nice individuals, I'm sure everyone means well, but for whatever reason, like literally everything they did went wrong. I asked them to check the battery, then I blew an alternator the next day that I got the bus. I, had them do the glow plugs, which is the diesel equivalent of a spark plug. They put it back together, they stripped a bolt, I was leaking oil, burning oil, and that's what the smoke was coming in inside the bus. Just lots of things. I asked them to put on the some fog lights, and it charging me like $500 to put on fog lights. It's obscene. So anyways, the good news is I have the bus. I'm going to try my best to leave tomorrow. I've been trying to leave, but every single time I got my bus back, there's been some issue. And let me just say for the record, I would rather deal with these issues here in this home base in Salt Lake City than on the middle of the road in the middle of nowhere and be stranded. So I'm thankful that all these problems and issues are resolved. Because I do want to be as safe as possible on the road. And I know people make mistakes, and I'm not trying to throw any shade or any blame on any one particular person. And so, with patience and understanding, I'm here, I'm in my bus, I have a new tire, I have, at this point, almost a new engine. But, it just, like I said, if anybody is getting into this, bus life or tiny house and a bus, there are always things that you can't plan for. And the best thing to do as a person is try to handle difficult situations the best way possible. Try not to let your feelings dictate your responses with other human beings. Remember, everyone is a human being and everyone makes mistakes. However, it's best to act with intention instead of reaction. because if I reacted the way I was feeling, I probably would have wanted to yell at everyone, and that would not have helped the situation whatsoever. Again, people may make mistakes, everyone's human. I'm sure no one did anything maliciously, just for the record, to repeat myself. And so this is ultimately the biggest lesson that I'm taking away from this whole entire experience. So if that maybe sheds some light or inspires you guys to try this, or to kind of see things in a different way or whatever. I think I'm gonna spend a couple hours just kind of processing everything. Need to do some laundry, gather up a bunch of receipts, follow up with a couple emails, and you know, just kind of get myself mentally prepared to leave. Since it's so late, I mean, I was trying to get out of here before, I think, Halloween. And now it's like what day is it? It is now the 11th, and wow, 2 weeks after I wanted to leave. If I left 2 weeks ago, I could have done Montana and Idaho, finishing up Idaho right about now, then getting over to Washington. Then I could have hung out there for a while, gone to this YouTube event in Seattle, the 12th and the 13th, but I won't make it home, or I should say to my aunt's place, until the 13th. And then that gives me 2 weeks exactly to do Oregon and California. And then I'll head over to Arizona after that. So I got myself a little prepared. I forget if I put it in yesterday's vlog, but oh yes, I did. I got a little heater, propane powered, and I got a little RV leveler and also a jack. So I need to get myself a pair of heavy duty chains, and you just drive your vehicle onto this with the inside tire, then you put chains on the outside tire, and then that'll be a lot easier to put snow chains on in the event that I actually need them. And it is winter, so chances are pretty good I'll need some chains at some point. So that's on my to purchase list. So yeah, it's a relief that the bus is done. It's been kind of traumatic dealing with all the issues that I had bringing it over to the Lewis Bus Group. But now I just need to get my head wrapped around the idea of leaving. Because honestly, when that bus stalled a couple times, once from the alternator, the other time from that sensor, it really kind of shook me up. Really was scary. I mean, imagine driving a bus and having the engine go out, and it's not cool. So anyways, I'm gonna think positive thoughts about my trip. Hopefully all the major issues are handled and taken care of, because that honestly was my #1 goal before leaving. Even before vlog #1, I dropped it off at a mechanic for about a week and had him do a bunch of preventative stuff, because it's better. I mean, if something's gonna go out, you might as well do it now than on the road, you know? So luckily, I really don't think there's too many other things that can go wrong. I know there's some sensors and stuff like that, which are normal, but as far as like preventative stuff, I've done everything. You name it, it's done. 2 new batteries, alternator, glow plugs, valve cover gasket, the camshaft sensor, water pump, transmission, oil, air conditioning's fixed. I mean, honestly, I've spent more on repairs than I did for the bus, which is kind of sad, but you know, again, that's just kind of how it goes with these things. So anyways, I really want you guys to know out there that if you guys are thinking about doing something like this, it's absolutely possible. Also, you could do something like this in a van. It doesn't have to be a school bus. I was thinking about it and talking about it this whole idea with a few different people, and I'm still in debt from college. College was very expensive. I went to University of Southern California. It's an extremely expensive school. Had I done things over, probably would have never gone there. But if I did, I read a book named Walden on Wheels. And this kid put himself through grad school debt-free by living in his car and working, I think for like the Forest Service during the summer, which includes room and board. And even though he only made 12 bucks an hour or whatever, by living in his car and saving money and not spending, you know, your money on things you don't need besides the essentials, he was able to put himself through, I think, Ivy League school debt-free. So I want you guys to know that you don't have to get into debt to go to college. You don't have to have an apartment. You don't have to have, you know, a kind of normal college experience and leave college with a huge amount of debt, because it looks like there will be no free college tuition anytime soon. There's no Bernie, there's no Hillary, there's Trump. So if I can encourage you guys to cut your expenses, that would be a fantastic way to get yourself through college debt-free. And I know I'm not speaking from experience, but since I do have a bus, I can tell you it is pretty easy to convert a vehicle into a living space. And if you shower at the school gyms, you get a, you know, permit in the parking lot for 100 bucks a semester or something like that, you can absolutely do it. If you're, you know, moderate to low income and you still have expenses, work hard, live in your car or your van, pick one up for a couple $1,000 and just tough it out for a few years. Because I can tell you, what you take out on college loans, you will end up paying at least 2 times more than the initial amount, and that's not cool. I really feel like there should be free college tuition. You shouldn't be burdened with tons of debt, and it's actually a good thing to invest in our citizens. So, so that's a great way to just, these are the rules as they are, and this is kind of like a life hack for it. So it's also a great way to to spend your life after you get out of school and you have some severe debt. Live in your car, live in a bus, live in a van, cut your costs and save up your money. Life is expensive. Where I came from, LA, being there for 13 years, buying a house is out of the question. You have to have at least $500,000. And that kind of a mortgage payment is pretty intense, and you have to have a good credit score, blah, blah, blah. Insurance, taxes, etc. It becomes a very expensive thing. So I really want to sell you guys on the nomadic life. We are into a digital age where a lot of people don't even have to show up at a certain location for their job. And doing this will allow you to have lots of freedom, and will cut your costs. So even though I spent, you know, lots of money on, you know, the bus as far as repairs and stuff like that, really, I mean, you could spend, I've spent the equivalent on the whole bus, maybe like, depending on where you live, 6 months to a year of rent up front. And now I can say proudly, I'm a homeowner. Tax-free. No one's ever gonna come knock on my door and charge me a property tax. You know, I have to pay registration, but that's relatively low. So yeah, I really feel like this way of living can be a highly effective means to get yourself ahead. And also, it's good for adventures. I'm about to have 365 adventures with you guys in 49 states. So if I can be an example for you guys, then follow my lead. So anyways, I'm gonna do some laundry and clean up and possibly pack up my place. I should show you my room downstairs. It's been a disaster. I've been on the fence for leaving for like 2 weeks, so it's just a total mess. This is very uncharacteristic. All right, here is the door to my room. All this stuff, as you may have seen, we put up some drywall, and this is the putty, the clay or whatever it's called. Once you put that kind of stuff up there, So wait and see. Guys, I've been living in the gear room since the middle of August, basically. Well, maybe 2 weeks after that. But basically, I've been sleeping on the mattress on the floor. All my clean clothes have been my cuddle buddies. Got my suitcase, some camera gear, something for some hammocks right there, a couple anchors, my drones right there, protein powder, dehydrator, my tools I just brought in the other day. Oh, surfboard. It's a complete disaster in here. My bus will not look this dirty, I promise you that. Anyways, I'm gonna do some laundry and clean up and do some thinking. We're back. It's my last night in Salt Lake City, so figured I'd treat Moose to some half-off sushi. And got the laundry in the laundromat, or in the washer, and just gonna stuff my face. Oh hey, look, a short bus. Well, let me go check it out real quick. That is a small little bus right here. It's like a little old school 4-window, I think. It looks like they covered up all the windows on the side. Yeah, this baby's old, from Wyoming. If anybody knows who that is, let me know whose bus that is. One of the final things I need to do for the bus that I actually kind of forgot to do, and also we couldn't do it since the bus was gone at the mechanics, was to make the legs for the bench that turns into a bed. So this is what I picked up at Home Depot a long time ago. This is a handrail for like a railing, I guess. So I'm just gonna stain this with the dark walnut to match the interior of the bus. And then I guess tomorrow we will lacquer and cut it to size. And I'm really hoping that this is long enough. I think it should be. We need 4 pieces out of this thing, and it's probably 8 feet long. So yeah, I think it'll work. Because, like I said, I'm gonna try and get out of here tomorrow. Get to the Portland area for a couple days, hang out there, meet my new nephew, because I became an uncle a little while ago. So yeah, so that's what's going on, and so I'm gonna get to work. Otherwise, I think I will see you guys tomorrow. This is pretty much a small little task. There's nothing else really going on. It's just kind of relaxing, catching up on some things, current events and whatnot. So yeah, I still have some things to do tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I'm gonna leave. And I think I'll start in the state of Oregon if I can get out of town quick enough. If not, I'll start in California, and then I'll swoop back around to the Pacific Northwest next year. But I definitely want to spend 1 week per state. That's the goal. And obviously larger states probably going to spend a little bit more time. So we will see. There are quite a few things to do in California when I pass through, and there's also a possible speaking engagement at the University of Oregon for a social media class. So I'm gonna try and reach out to them and see if they still want me to swing by. Maybe we'll go for a ride on Dan the Short Bus, or should I say adventure bus.